to today's Vlogoween episode. First and foremost, I want to say I know yesterday's episode was a disaster. I was so tired and I was trying to memorize all of the different facts about the different places in Vermont that I've never been, the different haunted places in Vermont that I've never been, and I know it was a disaster and I'm very sorry. That video is super cringy. While editing it, I was like, ugh. But I didn't have time to refilm it, and of course I work nights, so I was super tired anyway, and it was on Monday that I was filming it, so hopefully today's video will be better. And disclaimer, all the pictures that I use are not mine. I've just taken them off of Google Images, and the information I just take from a various number of different websites, so it's not mine. I'm not trying to like copy anybody else's work. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Here are 6 creepy haunted places that I would love to visit. Number 1, the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel, of course, is famously known for The Shining. It's where Stephen King got his inspiration for The Shining. According to different things that I read, him and his wife were the only ones in the Stanley Hotel, like back in the 1970s, and they stayed in room, I think it was 213, I think. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. I think it was 213, and he had a dream of like his son running down the hallway being chased by this like monstrous fire hose, and that's where he got the inspiration for The Shining. There's also reports of ghost children in room 418. So if that doesn't sound like a party, I don't know what does. There's also a ton of other different reports. These are just a few, but the Stanley Hotel is just so beautiful, and I just feel like it's super picturesque, and it's somewhere that I personally would love to go, and I was so close to it when I lived out west and I never went, and I'm so sad. Like, I was like an hour and a half from it at one point, but I didn't have time to stop and just go and see it, and I wish I would have. But it's on my list of things to visit, like on my list of haunted places to visit, which is why I made this video. Number 2, the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel in Alberta, Canada. This is a new one. Like, I just came across this one from Top 5's video. If you YouTube Top 5s, he's great. I love watching his videos, but this was in one of his videos recently, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful hotel, and it's near Banff National Park, or whatever it's called. It might not be Banff National Park, I call it that, but it's near there. And Banff National Park is a place I would love to go. It's so beautiful and majestic, and I just feel like my soul is being like dragged towards there. Like, anytime I look at pictures, it just makes me so relaxed, and I want to go and just experience it. So, and this place is not far from there, and it's so beautiful. And apparently it's rumored to be one of the most haunted places in Canada. I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows if these websites are true. They might not be true at all, but that's what I read. And then I also saw in room 873, a whole family was murdered. I think it was, I got this from Top 5, so don't quote me, but I think like the father like murdered his whole family and then killed himself. But I guess the hotel has actually completely bricked off the room, so it doesn't even exist anymore. Like, how creepy is that, right? But it's so beautiful, and like definitely a place I would love to take my vlog. Like, oh, it'd be so great to go. Like, it's definitely on my list. Number 3, Edinburgh Castle in Edinburgh, Scotland. I guess some different like happenings that happen here are feelings of being watched, drops in temperature, like different things touching your face, and shadowy figures. And apparently it's one of the most haunted places in Scotland, according to a couple different websites. So maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. And one of the more famous stories about this castle is there's a whole bunch of tunnels underneath it, or like in it. Underneath it, I'm gonna go with, and a bagpiper went down there and played his bagpipes, and they told him to keep playing so they could keep track of where he was. And at one point the music just completely stopped, and the bagpiper was never seen again. How spooky is that? That is so creepy, right? but it looks great. It's another majestic place, and I love history so much, and it looks so historic and just beautiful. It'd definitely be another good one for the vlog, and I'd have so many great pictures. Definitely Insta worthy. Like, it's beautiful, and I just think it'd be so cool to go and see. Number 4, the Catacombs in Paris, France. Now apparently the catacombs house over 6 million bodies. Yikes. And I guess the tunnels go on for hundreds of miles, but it's only open to about a mile for visitors, but they just go on forever and ever and ever. How creepy is that? Like, just miles and miles of bodies, and like they have bones like made into sculptures, and I guess like people will venture down into the catacombs, and like they know of like swimming pools in there, all these other things. So that, I wouldn't go swimming in the catacombs, but I would like to go and just experience it and just see another piece of history. Like, obviously it's historic and great and spooky all at the same time. Number 5, Alcatraz Island in San Francisco, California. So Alcatraz, if you don't know, it was the max security prison from the 1930s to the 1960s, holding some notoriously dangerous criminals such as Al Capone and Whitey Bulger. Some of the different happenings there are in a cell 14D. People have like feelings of intensity when they get near the cell, and it's super cold. It could be super hot outside, but that cell, you're gonna want a jacket because it's so cold. And I read one of the stories when the prison was operating, they locked an inmate in that cell, and he started screaming about some creature with glowing eyes being in there with him. But of course they just thought that he was trying to get out. But that's kind of weird, right? That's creepy. Another report of haunted happenings is people tend to hear banjo being played in the shower room, and rumor has it in his last days at Alcatraz, Al Capone would play his banjo in the shower. Is Al Capone still there? Anyways, it's on my list of places to see, and I think it'd be so cool. Again, it's another part of history. It's so historic and spooky, and it just looks great. And you can do a whole walking tour there, and you gotta row out to the prison on a boat. Like, oh, I'd just love to go. Number 6, Myrtle Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. Apparently, Myrtle's Plantation is said to be one of the most haunted houses in America. I guess it's built right on top of an old Indian burial ground. Some of the happenings there include a shadowy figure who people tend to think is Chloe. I guess Chloe used to be a slave at the plantation, and she was caught eavesdropping by the master of the plantation. So he cut off her ear, and in an act of retaliation, she baked a cake that was poisoned in an attempt to only make the family members ill, but instead killed his wife and his 2 children. In return, other slaves hanged her on the property, and it is said that she is still seen to this day walking around with a turban on her head in like a way to cover her ear that was cut off. Other happenings at the Myrtle Plantation include a Confederate soldier stomping around on the porch, as well as a male warning people not to visit. It is a beautiful piece of property, again, full of history, and someplace I would love to go. So that's it for today's episode of Vlogoween. I hope you enjoyed the 6 different places that I would love to visit. Of course, they're all haunted. Obviously, I love that stuff. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.